This work session, regular meeting of the Township Council is called to order. Madam Clerk.
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of the Thursday, October 10, 2019 work session regular meeting of the Franklin Township Council was provided as required by law.
If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilman Crystal Pruitt. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which is God, indivisible. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Chase?
Here.
Councilwoman Francois? Councilman Galtieri?
Here.
Mayor Kramer?
Here.
Councilman Onijaka? Councilman Prasad? Councilwoman Pruitt?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella? Councilman Wright?
Councilman Onijaka is delayed. He recently got a job in New York. He's undergoing some training now, so he will be here a little late. Next, we have commendations and proclamations. First is Breast Cancer Awareness Month proclamation. And Crystal could join me, that'd be great. We could have the sisters join us, Sisters Network. Everyone.
Okay, so it's my honor to read the proclamation for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is an annual campaign to increase awareness of this disease, and while we have seen an increase in mammography rates and a decline in deaths, there's more that we can do. And whereas National Breast Cancer Awareness Month remains dedicated to increasing public knowledge about the importance of early detection of breast cancer diagnoses and treatment, and whereas too many women do not utilize mammography as at regular intervals, even though research indicates it is the best available method of detection to decrease death rates, and whereas the awareness campaign is sending out several key messages, most notably the American Cancer Society continues to advise women to get an annual mammogram screening once they reach age 40, and whereas the National Cancer Institute estimates in the United States more than 231,000 female and 2,000 male new cases of breast cancer will be diagnosed this year, and over 40,000 people will die, and whereas in Somerset County, female breast cancer increased slightly and accounts for 16.3% of all cancer cases and 8.7% of all cancer deaths, and are slightly higher than the average in New Jersey for incidence. And in Morris County, female breast cancer accounts for 15.8% of all cancers and 9% of all cancer deaths. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Mayor and Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, does hereby recognize all of the above and declare October 2019 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. and urge all women and their families to increase their knowledge about breast cancer and join us to celebrate successes and memorialize lost battles. So it's my tremendous honor on behalf of the council to present this proclamation to the Sisters Network, who does tremendous work here in our township.
Thank you so much. On behalf of Sister to Sister, we thank you for this proclamation. We thank you for believing in what we're doing. We're educating women, we're bringing awareness to women, and we're trying to explain to women the importance of mammograms every year. So with your help, I'm sure we continue to reach the women in our township with the news of early detection is your best protection. Behind me are all survivors that belong to our organization. We have many more, so you can see if you get early detection, you will survive this thing of breast cancer. And also our organization is open to all underserved women that's in Franklin Township. Any underserved women, we bring awareness, education, support as you're going through treatment and you need assistance with your utility bill or with your child care, whatever we can help you with. The money that we raise, that's what we do with it. We give it back to the women going through treatment so that they will know that they're not alone. To go through something like breast cancer, it's really a horrifying experience, but you can get through it and you can live. So we're here also to just bring encouragement to those women. And at this time, we're happy to have our chairman of our Professional Advisory Board, Amrel Alonzo, and if you want to say a few words.
Thank you for having me. I am Amaral Alonzo. I'm the chairperson of the Professional Advisory Board, and I'm here to tell you that we can all be members of Sister to Sister. You do not have to be a breast cancer survivor to belong to our organization. It's bigger than that. We serve women, all women, who are battling against cancer, but you can become a member. You can become a member with your prayers, with your support, with your smile, by buying a T-shirt, by attending our fundraisers, by coming to the house and donating your time, and of course, with your money. The Professional Advisory Board are a group of professional accountants, attorneys, oncologists, researchers, all who give up their time once a month to come to the house to advise the house as to how it should run itself. This is not an ad hoc committee. This is not a fly-by-nine nonprofit. They've got a whole host of professional support that stands behind them to make sure that every dollar is spent correctly and every dollar goes to the constituents that we serve. So thank you, and feel free to drop by the house at any time.
Kimberly, our councilwoman, she's also on our board, and I was trying to just motion to her to say something about the Pink Patch Project. This is a project that is run by Franklin Township Police Department. All month, you'll see a pink police car riding around. That's the Pink Patch Project. They will be selling these T-shirts that we have on, and all the money that they raise will be given back to our organization. So we're happy to be in partnership with the township.
I just want to say thank you to the sisters for the tremendous support they give the community. As people know, I'm a doctor. There are times when there's a medical issue in my family, and I know your mind just goes numb, and even as a doctor, and it's hard to think. And this organization helps people get through that, plus the financial, plus the other things, but they just help you get through that. And then the other thing is mammogram, mammogram, mammogram. Breast health and early detection can save lives, does save lives. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't want to say anything because I don't like to get a lot of credit. These are the ladies that are doing all the work, but I think the main point here that hopefully everybody received is they provide so much emotional and financial support to women that are in need of help. Breast cancer is a very serious disease, and the organization needs money. So anybody out there in TV land that's watching, if you have $5, $2, whatever, the money goes directly to the breast cancer patients. And so we really need your support, and we really appreciate having an organization like this housed out of Franklin Township. We could not do this without them. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. I'm so honored and privileged to be a part of this organization. Thank you, everyone out there.
Can you just indulge me for 1 minute? It would be remiss of us if we didn't have Lieutenant Phil Rizzo. Come on, come on. We're having him come up because he took his personal time to make sure the Pink Patch Project was a success again, so please.
I gotta say something now? Last year, we undertook the Pink Patch Project, and it was a great success. Many agencies now are talking about doing it next year. We had 3 this year. It's a very worthwhile cause, and we have a great community supporting us. So thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you all.
I'm getting mine. You put me on TV, I'm getting mine. I'm sorry, Mr. Borlaug, I'm getting
The next proclamation is about the 150th anniversary of the birth of Gandhi. Mr. Prasad.
Please come on up. I'm ready. So the proclamation reads, whereas on June 15th, 2007, the General Assembly of the United Nations declared October 2nd the birthday of the Apostle of Peace, Mahatma Gandhi, as the International Day of Nonviolence. And whereas the Township of Franklin honors Mahatma Gandhi, Apostle of Peace, on the 150th anniversary of his birth. And whereas in the world today there is so much violence and there is an immediate need to promote nonviolence and peace as taught and practiced by Mahatma Gandhi. And whereas the Township of Franklin is the home to thousands of Hindu families and is the best place to promote this global initiative of nonviolence and peace. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Philip Kramer, and Councilman Rajiv Prasad, on behalf of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, hereby proclaim October 2nd, 2019 as Mahatma Gandhi Day of Nonviolence, and encourage all residents to participate in celebrations commemorating the 150th anniversary of the birth of the Apostle of Peace, Mahatma Gandhi. So, I'd like to give that to Mr. Chandrakant Desai. Dr. Desai is, of course, one of our town elders who's very well respected. And with him, of course, we have Panditji here, who has about 1,500 residents of Franklin Park that belong to his group association. So on their behalf, rather than bring everybody, just ask the 2 leaders of the community to be here to accept it. And I'm asking Chandrakant Bhai to say a few words because he, as a student, actually saw Gandhi and has personal And Gandhi also is personal to me because in 1915, when he came to India, my grandfather went and asked him what he could do, and since then he followed Gandhi for the next 30 years, going in and out of jail, and never lived to see independence. But Gandhi was a guest in my house in 1918, 20, and 22. So he is personal because the grandmother who raised me talked about all his values and tried to uphold them. So with that, Dr. Desai, and we'll ask Panditji to say something.
Honorable Mayor Dr. Phil Kramer, honorable council members, ladies and gentlemen, it's really a great pleasure for me and for all the Indo-Americans and all the citizens of our Franklin Township to accept this proclamation of Mahatma Gandhi's 150th birthday. See, actually, how I was associated with Mahatma Gandhi was in 1938 when I was in third grade. At that time, my parents brought me to a very large gathering. It was annual gathering where hundreds and thousands of people got together to listen to Mahatma Gandhi. And as a third grader, I could understand what's happening around. And he was a magician. Hundreds and thousands of people sitting over there and making a lot of noise. He just did like this. Within 2-3 minutes, pin drop silence. Then the umbrellas were there because it was very hot. So people had umbrellas, and the umbrellas were coming in the way of seeing, people could not see him. He told, just he made a sign and all umbrellas got shut. And 5 minutes, he started his lecture, pin drop silence. He was a magician. No? He could control the people like that. That was the first time I saw Mahatma Gandhi. Just I will say a few things about our great men of United States as well as of the world who have said something about Mahatma Gandhi. First is that the United Nations and UN member countries celebrate Gandhi's birthday as a day of non-violence and world peace. And 53 Nobel Prize winners once got together and they declared that solution to all the problems of the world lies in the Gandhian way. And Dr. Martin Luther King, whose picture is over here, he got the inspiration for his civil rights movement from Mahatma Gandhi's method of civil disobedience based on non-violence, truth and peace. And the Lord Mountbatten was the last Viceroy and Governor General of India, where after the assassination of Gandhi, on the next day, he said something about Gandhi, that Gandhi will go down in history on a par with Buddha and Christ. That's what Lord Mountbatten told. And President Barack Obama once in high school in Virginia, Wakefield High School, when he came for the back to school lecture, he wanted to deliver a lecture about back to school. That one girl, Lily, asked that if you have to dine with somebody who is dead or alive, give me the name of the person with whom you can dine. Then President Barack Obama said that he would love to dine with Gandhi. President Bill Clinton was asked that why we have a statue of this Mahatma Gandhi in Washington, D.C., where he is not an American. Then he told that Mahatma Gandhi was the citizen of the world and therefore citizen of the United States too. So like that, great people of United States and the world have said something about Mahatma Gandhi. I will just read in short my poem which I read about Mahatma Gandhi in my collection of poems. Mahatma Gandhi taught us to dare and act truthfully among the enemies of humanity, to love the untouchable by generous nobility, to save the slaves from the age-old slavery, and to violate the wars and unjust by his unique principles of non-violence. He was miser in spending money, but most extravagant in spending his life for the well-being of mankind. Physically, he lived in huts, but he always dwelled in the hearts of the people. He was the son of God, father of his nation, and a great friend of the entire humanity. He fought great wars against cowardice and poverty, poured strength in the weak, and turned coals into diamonds. He realized one and the same God in every religion. His vision was unique. He was afraid of none but God. His fearlessness was unique. With his vision and courage, he fought out all disasters gallantly by means of the miraculous weapon of civil disobedience, beholding the truth. Lastly, just a few words that let us hope that Councilman Rajiv Prasad succeeds very soon in bringing up the Peace and Nonviolence Memorial to commemorate the 150th birthday anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you all.
There are very few people in history who are transitional to the world. Certainly Mahatma Gandhi is one of them, and there's much to learn from him. Thank you. Okay, we are on to item number 5, item number 6, sorry, public discussion. Do I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor of opening to the public, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. This meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak may come up for 5 minutes. Yes, sir. Please state your name and address, address the council, no yielding of time, and you may only come up once.
Paul Pappas, 1182 Allen Road, North Brunswick, New Jersey. Hello, Mayor and Council. It's my first time here in front of you. Congratulations to all of you. By accident, I came the other night, and I was sitting outside for about an hour. I thought it was, so I guess my reason being for coming here, and I'll just give you a little bit about myself. I'm a former councilman of North Brunswick from 1996 to 1999, so I do appreciate very much of what you all do. I'm here tonight to discuss a very serious situation, unfortunately. And I want to say shame on me first for riding these roads probably for the last 38 years in this area and not coming here sooner and voicing my opinion. But the other night, I was going down Skimmin Lane, and then I went down Blackwell's Mills Road, went to Hillsborough to see my little goddaughter. She is in a gymnastics class there, so I go there periodically to see her. On my way coming home, it was a little bit dreary that night, a little bit drizzly, but I had to keep putting my brights on coming down Skimmin Lane, coming back all the way up, because there are no lights on that road. And I kept saying to myself, I need to talk to somebody. I usually, in North Brunswick, if I have something to say, I usually don't come to the meetings. I talk to the mayor and council behind closed doors, because I happen to know all of them, like, personally. But in this case, I knew I needed to address, I came to the engineering department, which told me that, my best bet is to come in front of you guys. Make a long story short, Skillman Lane needs, that particular night on my way home, coming around the second bend, a gentleman went off and smashed right into a tree. I stopped. I got out to try to help him. He was okay. Police came. I made sure he was all right. I asked him if he needed a ride. He took an Uber home, and they had to get a tow truck to pull him out. But I think, for me, I think that was a really eye-opener, because that could have been anyone. And I don't know what the reason is, and I can't believe I'm the first person to come in front of you to address this. The gentleman in the engineering department said, well, they kind of don't really want to have it as a major thoroughfare. Maybe that's why there's no lights in the road. Well, being that said, anybody who goes down there, whether it's the residents or if it's just a few people going down, their life is just as important as if there's many people going down and back and forth. You're really, guys, you're really, one of you council people, I know you're all real busy. I tried to call the gentleman from the district, his district, I presume he's not here, Mr. But his last name is
John.
Yeah, and he needs to check out his voicemail because you can't leave a message on it. But nevertheless, that's another thing, but that's neither here nor there. I tried to reach out to him to maybe nip this to the bud before I came here, and he didn't recall me back, so that's why I showed up tonight. I would ask you, in the most humane way I can, to not just look into it. Please do what you need to do. Mayor and council, I know that you know what to do, how to do it, to get it done. Please, I beg of you to get it done. I don't want to see anybody hurt any more than they have been, or worse than that. God bless you. Have a great night. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming up. So the way we handle that, and I don't even have to say this, is whenever there's a request for a light, we tell the manager about it, and the manager has the police go out and evaluate it, and it's a dark corner, and it's a tricky road, so I'm sure without me even suggesting it, Mr. Vornlocker will be asking the police to evaluate it. Thank you for coming. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Hello? You the mayor?
I'm the mayor.
All right. Okay, I didn't even know that. I've been living here for 31 years. My name is Cedric McDonald. Just met Township Manager.
Address, please.
Excuse me?
Address, please.
71 Drake Road.
Okay.
Been there 31 years. We need lights. Not just Skillman. We need lights, regular lights. I walk outside, I see shadows 5:30, 6:30 in the morning. Those are kids trying to walk to school buses. There's no lights.
I couldn't agree more, Mr. McDonald.
Okay, well, you agree, but we don't have any lights, so what's going on? Why we don't have any lights?
So do you have particular places that you would like the lights?
I would like lights at every block.
We can start by looking at the bus stops that kids are at in the dark in the morning.
I figure you might say something like that, okay? So I live between McAfee and Connolly. Okay, so that's all little kids. You need to get lights all the blocks. That's a start. Then you got the double-line streets. All the double lines where the snow plows are going to come through first for the township to clear those main streets. Let's get lights there. Okay, and then we also need to get Skillman. We got to get the bad turns, but we need lights because we got little kids out walking. You can't, I come outside with a flashlight, and I flash people, and they're scared. They're scared of the light. We need light. They shouldn't be scared of the light. They should have lights. That's all I want to say.
Okay.
I'm hoping that, we get some lights quickly. My kids are grown now, so they can get lights. But they have me. The rest of these kids don't have me. Yeah, they had me.
Thank you.
Benjamin Guy, 35 Patton Drive. Two things I want to point out. One is on October 26th, I know
we're supposed to be having a community day over in Hamilton Street with Franklin Township, the Parks and Rec Department, the Hamilton Street Board, and actually other local community supporters, where we're having a trunk or treat on Hamilton Street. It's going to be open to the public from 1 to 3 with everybody that's out there. So if the community isn't aware, there's flyers in the township. Or if anybody's watching online, this is a great way for you to meet the other families and community leaders and community people actually out there. For some of the local residents that's always got questions about what's going on at Hamilton Street, one of the things that we're going to have an open house on October 23rd for one of the community buildings that is actually opening. So what we're doing is we're inviting everybody that actually has questions or comments about what goes on at Hamilton Street and wants to actually know what's going on. There's actually going to be an open house actually October 23rd from 5 to 8 p.m. and we'll get the Chamber of Commerce president to actually give more details at the next council board meeting for that, because I think the next council board meeting is October 22nd. Something like that. So 22nd. So she'll give more details, but I'm just letting everybody know, just everybody that's listening. The other things that I just want to keep abreast about is, one is community center, our youth center. I just want to make sure we're giving a status report monthly about that, what the progress is, what the community can actually do to support those things as we move along. Ms. Francois has done a great job with actually getting it to this point, but I want to make sure that we get it over the hump and we can actually get everything done. So I want to make sure that if there's any support that the town needs, that we're constantly asking that question at all. This next question is for, I think, Mr. Von Lucker directly. Two things. One is, I'm not sure if the county has reached out to us directly about any involvement for how they can actually be involved with different programs, because I had multiple conversations with the county representatives, whether or not it's transportation, planning, and also workforce development. So I'm not sure if there's anything that you have met with them about and are able to actually let the community know about altogether, of anything else that the county might be interested in supporting in this area. And I think that was pretty much it for right now.
All right, so, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, because I know sometimes that Mr. Guy doesn't stay for my report, so I'll give it to him now. I am, continuing to meet with people from the county, and I actually had a meeting today with the interim director for workforce development, Paul Grisella. So I had requested a meeting with him to discuss the possibility of expanding their programs into Franklin. Now, about 30% of the people who take advantage of the opportunities afforded by workforce development are from Franklin.
Yes.
So, obviously the availability of space is very important as we move forward, and that's where not only the youth center, but also the community center at Consolata will also give them an opportunity to expand their actual classes in Franklin, and they're very enthusiastic about it. Hopefully Mr. Grisella gets the job. He's an interim now. We'll know probably in about a month whether he does or not. I think one of the things you're referring to is we meet regularly and quite regularly with the Somerset County Planner, Walter Lane.
Yes.
And we'll continue to do that. That's on a different plane than the services that are being provided through the youth center and the community center. But we're going to continue to do that, and we'll continue to meet with those people and work towards them providing services in both of those facilities in 2020 as we open them.
Okay. I think that is that's all for now.
That's great. Thanks for the updates. Really appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to speak? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Stanislav Jarac, 22 Heather Drive. As you may know, I'm 22 Heather Drive.
Heather Drive.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And some of you may know, actually, that I'm also a member of the Environmental Commission. So today I'm coming because there have been some live conversation lately about how we work efficiently as a government And I just was Googling today, and this is a stupid question, but I ask you, what do you think have these in common? State of Wyoming, state of Colorado, city of Boston, and I guess the list could go on. They all use Google Suite to improve efficiency of how they operate. There is a list of advantages. And in particular, what I find difficult when we work with the Environmental Commission is that the meeting minutes are being released with a substantial delay because for the protection of Sunshine Law, we always have to make adjustment to the meeting minutes during the next meeting. And the Google Suite actually allows to do just that and in a very efficient way. And, you know, I was under impression that it is violation of the Sunshine Law, but if these governments can do it, I think we can do it too. And that would be much more efficient way of working and using our time. And this is also responsibility to our citizens. So this is just what I wanted to say. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to speak? Ms. Powell.
Linda Powell, 22 Buffer Drive. Some of you have in front of you a letter, and I'll address that in a second. I wanted to thank Mayor Kramer and the council members and our township manager, Bob Vornlocker, for all the support we've gotten over the past 3.5 years fighting the Williams Transco proposed Northeast Supply Enhancement or NESE project, NESE project. And as you know, this includes a proposed compressor station down by Trap Rock, an active dynamite blasting zone, the gas-powered gas compressor station, which is the most polluting kind, and a pipeline under Raritan Bay. And the applications were rejected twice by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, which was actually somewhat of a victory that we claimed, but immediately William Transco applied again. So now we're asking the NJDEP and also alerting the governor to please reject these permits, what they call with prejudice, which means finally, to protect the safety, health, and the environment of residents and visitors, not only to Franklin, but to other areas in the state. And because of the great impact on climate change that these fossil fuel projects have, and with New Jersey having twice the coastal rise of waters of the national rise in waters, we're really almost like ground zero for the climate crisis. So the letter that some of you have in front of you, I didn't give it to Councilwoman Francois or Councilman Chase or Prasad because they've already said that they wanted their signatures on the letter. So please let me know ASAP that, if you want to be included. We're going to all, around the state to any of the elected officials who had been supporting this movement. And today, I heard that Governor Murphy actually came out in opposition to the Meadowland Power Station, so we're hoping that NESE will be next. And the other thing that we're asking that everyone take 2 minutes and sign the online petition. You can find it on our website, which is scrap-NESE, scrap-NESE.org, or it's also on the Franklin Township website, where you can go under the government, then boards and committees, then go down to the task force on compressor station, and at the bottom is the website, which you have to click on and then click on again. And right in the middle of our website, it'll say quick action you can take now, click to sign the online petition. And we're trying to get a lot of people to do this before the October 25th deadline, so people can do that. And there's lots of reasons why that these petitions, this application should be denied. really, they do not meet the regulatory standards of New Jersey. And you can look on the website and still comment, even though the public comment period was closed on the 23rd. Williams Transco continued to comment, so the public can comment too and give them good reasons, which there are several of why they should reject these applications. So thank you very much for your ongoing support.
Thank you, Ms. Paul, for all that you do. Can I just tell you yes here, or do I need to? Yes, put my name on. Okay. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Mayor, seeing no one come forward, a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor of closing the public portion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Public portion is closed. We are, well, I was going to go to the committee reports, but we have the woman from the census here and flood mitigation people. Do we have a motion to amend the agenda so we can move that up?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of amending the agenda to have the council discussion items now, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. So we can do, I don't, oh, there you are. Flood mitigation, I'm sorry, update of 2020 census. You're on, thank you. This is a very important item. We've got to be counted. It's all about money.
It's
also, it's okay, it's about other
education and historic.
No, it's about money we get. So you need to use.
The microphone? Bob?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Tahira Gomez-Smith, and I'm a partnership specialist with the U.S. 2020 Census.
Gotta help her with the...
Yes, if someone knows which channel, I know it's on, but we need to have a channel.
If you do, then we have a bigger...
Oh, boy.
Because I don't know anything.
It should say the input. We
So you
can
have no
change.
signal, so you
Yeah,
can't-
yeah, so that's the thing. We need to just change the input. Let me see. Let's see if we can find it. Here's the source. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, okay.
The HDMI cable
Well,
wasn't
no.
plugged in.
Oh, it wasn't plugged in.
No,
Okay.
it wasn't plugged in
Okay,
there.
so let's see. Is something?
So now
Oh.
now you gotta do this.
Aha. Oh, am I pointing it to the? Might take a minute. Well, in any case, well, technology catches up with us. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. I have to say that I've been in Franklin Township for less than an hour, and I'm so impressed. It's such a lively community. Thank you so much for having me.
There it is.
We're coming. It's coming. Well, again, technology catches on. I want to ask you guys, who has heard of the U.S. Census? Who knows what that is? Awesome. Perfect. How about the community? Wonderful. Who can think back? How far back does the census go? How awesome.
The
Perfect. Thank you so much.
1790.
Oh, wonderful. There's always a historian. Thank you so much. Yes, as a matter of fact, 1790. You guys are not far behind. So you guys, the U.S. Census has been in place since 1790. As a matter of fact, it is written into our Constitution. But we're going to learn a little bit about that tonight. I'm going to go very quickly because I know you do guys, you do have more items in your agenda, but this is important. So 3 things we would like to learn tonight about the census is 1, it is the law. 2nd, it is important. And 3rd, it is safe and it is easy. I know that was 4. The mission of the census has been and has always been since 1790 to serve as a leading provider of quality data for our government. We count everyone. We count everyone everyone once and in the right place. That is the goal. And it happens every 10 years. It has been happening since 1790, every 10 years. It is the largest statistical agency in the United States, and it is the leading source of the data utilized to determine the rate of employment, the rate of housing, the schools. All of this information it comes from the numbers derived from the head count of the census. Now, the census is enumeration. We count everyone once and in the right place. But throughout the years, between the 10 years, there are other things that happen, and those are surveys. Right now, in the last couple of years, we've been doing the American Community Survey. It's a little bit more of a lengthy process, lengthy information gathering tool that happens on years 2 and 7. Other surveys happen on years 2 and 7. For example, the economic census happens as well. So we're busy all the time in the Census Bureau, but every 10 years we count everyone. Why is this important? Like I said, it is the law. It was written in the Constitution, and it was, in fact, put in place by Thomas Jefferson. He was the first person who carried out the job of counting everyone in the United States. He hired 650 horsemen who rode across from east to west, counting every man, woman, child, prairie home, town, and city in our nation. So back then, 650 men did this job. Today, we are looking to count an estimate 329 million people. So we need a lot more help than that, which is the second reason why I'm here today. We are hiring. We are hiring. We are hiring. So I want to talk about that a little bit later. But as I said, it has been happening every 10 years since 1790. It continues to happen throughout past, present, and future administrations. The census counts everyone once and in the right place. Why is this also important? It is important because it determines several things that pertain to all of us. The number of seats in the House of Representatives, for example. There is funding that is allocated to all the human and social services that we use. That is hospitals, firemen, roads, schools. And that is apportioned throughout the nation according to where people are, which is why we count people where they are. So $675 billion of that funding gets apportioned according to our head count. It informs our governments, local, municipal, county, state, and nationwide, of our planning decisions are informed throughout those numbers. It is important, and it is also safe. Your personal identifiable information will always be protected. It does not get shared with any other federal agency. Once it is collected, it is encrypted, and today we are using the latest cybersecurity measures to make that so. It is protected by federal law, Title 13, and it carries with it federal prison sentence of up to 5 years and a fine of up to $250,000 for any federal employee that violates that law. Your personal identifiable information is safe. And it is, in fact, protected for 75 years. And some of the stories I've heard as I'm doing this in the field is people going on Ancestry.com and seeing, history of the census from the beginning of the last century of their family members. So now they can see that. But it is there. It is kept, but it is protected. So to carry out this process of counting everyone every 10 years, there is a process. We can't just get up one day and count everyone. We need to do certain things. First of all, we need to determine where people live. And that is the first part of the process that you see here. In the field and in the office, we go out and canvass housing units across the nation. That means that we have people on foot and on computers using all the latest technology, of course, and data available to find where all the housing units are from Nome, Alaska to San Juan, Puerto Rico, Guam also. So we count all the housing units that are in the nation. then we go around doing what I'm doing here today, is holding hands and getting everyone interested and engaged in participating in the census. And for that, we go to our municipalities, we go to our states. We do have a state complete count committee formed already. We also have a Somerset County complete count committee, and we go to our municipalities to help us be the trusted voice to our community members to understand these important facts about the census. We also partner with schools, with churches, with businesses, with any local organization that can be a voice to forward this information to our community, to parlay the importance of this head count. So that is what's happening now. Later on in the year, you will start receiving and seeing information on social media, on TV, on radio, and probably in print about getting ready to self-respond on the census. So now this is the first time in the history of our census that we'll be able to do this in 4 different ways, which is why it's also easy to do. We can do it online. We can do it on the phone. We can also do it in paper, because it will be mailed to you if you don't do the previous 2. Or you can wait till somebody comes knocking at your door. So 4 different ways. It's the first time in the history of the census that you'll be able to do it in 4 different ways, which is another part of the information that we need to relay. By March, the census day is April 1st. So whoever has not responded by April 1st will receive in the mail, and then will receive a visit. So that's how that process gets carried out. All this information is gathered of our head count, and a report is provided to our president by December 31st of 2020. That is the goal and the end of our process for this particular decennial census. As I said, there's 4 different ways we'll be able to do the census this time around: internet, phone, mail, and in person. Also this time around, we'll be able to provide 12 different non-English languages when you're using internet and on the phone. The printed material will always come in English and in Spanish, both, one side and one side. But on the internet and on the phone, you'll be able to access 12 more languages. If you are on the phone and you need an additional language, we will have 59 total languages available, which is why we're also hiring. We need people at the community level that speak all these languages, because we want to be able to service as many people as we can to answer the census. So yes, we have all these languages available in print in Spanish, these 12 on the internet, and the rest of them we will have available as assistance in person when you go to a particular place. Say, for example, your community center decides to do a census day and help people with computers go online to self-respond. You could have translators there. We have partnership specialists in New Jersey right now that speak the first 12 languages, including Hindi, Gujarati, Mandarin, Spanish, Russian, Korean, Creole, and Arabic, for example. So what we're here to do, and we hope that you guys are on board, the council is on board, and the municipality and the community is on board, is to acquire partnerships. What does that mean? As I mentioned, at the state level, we have a complete count committee. At the county level, we have a complete count committee. And we hope that at the municipal level and at the local community level, we can form complete count committees. These are just groups of people that are coming up with ideas on how to reach the community, how to relay this information efficiently and understandably, and be the trusted voice that relays that, okay? In New Jersey, we also have area census offices. These offices are there to serve the field agents that are ultimately going to go to the houses and help us do the head count on foot and with computer data. We have area offices that are there to support that effort. They're not for the public, but they're there to support the effort of the census officers and the people that we do hire to do those jobs. Probably closer to you would be either South Plainfield or Trenton. Those 2 offices are already working. And those are the offices that will provide the resources that we need customization for. For example, if the Township of Franklin decides to put a newsletter blurb in your e-newsletter, for example, about the census, that the office will work with you to customize it and put the information that you want in the way that you want it to be relayed. Some of the things that the partnerships can do are, for example, post 2020 census jobs. October 20th to the 26th is our nationwide recruiting week, and we are looking to partner with community organizations to do job fairs and to be at your community events to provide assistance for people to fill out those applications. They're very easy 10-minute applications you can do online, and we can be there to provide laptops and tablets to help people do so in English and Spanish and Gujarati and Mandarin and all the languages available. Why do we need this? Because of the environment that we're in today. People are afraid. People don't understand that their information is safe. And so we are here to engage your trusted voices to come to the community and explain these facts. And help people, obviously, achieve the goal of a more complete count. That is all of our goal. For the reasons that we just explained, about having a portion of the $675 billion come to our communities where we need them. We need those roads and those lights and those hospitals and those firemen to work for us. So who is our partner? So far, we have, as I mentioned, state, county, municipalities engaged. We also have local colleges, schools, libraries. We have local businesses. We have community organizations, your book clubs. Anyone can be a partner, and anyone that has an idea on how to promote the census and how to promote this information can be a partner. We do have, of course, specialized committees that reach out to a particular faith-based community or a particular ethnic population or a particular interest population. We need to partner with everyone. And how do we support our partners? We are not here to offer money, but we can offer something better than money. We can offer lots and lots of technology and lots of resources. We can offer partnership specialists that come to your events to help you, as I said, promote the census and promote jobs and help people fill out the applications, for example. We can also provide cut and paste information that you can post in your local community newsletters, in your newspapers, in your linkages to your websites, for example. All this technology and resources will be there as a partner. What can you do as a partner? Well, you can invite us to your events, and we hope you do. We hope to be there. We can host events that you come up with, for the census specifically, in churches, in local businesses, in community centers, etc. You can post the logo, you can post blurbs, you can post articles, of course, pictures, and be open to our recruiting. We are here to help with that. As I said, anyone can be in a complete count committee. So not just the municipality and the council, but also our communities. And our community members can be part of a complete count committee. Being part of a complete count committee is easy. There's a procedure that we can do. We can go through, and I will leave some information about that anyone can have access to, as to if you want to form a committee of your own interest, either your neighborhood or your school or your church or whatever, please have some information about it and reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you get started. Again, the idea is to reach out to all those hard-to-count communities that traditionally are more hesitant to self-respond. And those are the ones that we need to count, because we want a more complete count. We want a more accurate count so that the funding can be distributed apportionately. You can start by appointing a liaison, and I hope that I already spoken several times with Ms. McCarthy, and I hope to speak with the rest of the council as well, to formulate a plan to do several activities or different things in Franklin Township, and to engage part of the different aspects of the community. One of the tools that we have, and it's already available online, it's our ROAM, our Response Outreach Area Mapper. This is a live tool that you can reach right now on your phones, on your tablets, on your computers, and it is a live map of the United States. As you can see, it has many colors. And what this map is doing is pulling all the information that has been gathered through the surveys and the previous census into data that can be used for community planning, for community outreach, for businesses. It's very interesting information. As you can see, there's many colors. And what the colors depict are the areas. First of all, it goes down, as you can see, the map of New Jersey is there, but you can zoom in, and I'm going to show you in a little bit. You can zoom in all the way to the census tract level, and it will give us information about where those areas of traditionally least self-response are, communities that are traditionally not self-responding to the census. So in that map, the lighter areas are the areas where people self-respond more often, and the darker areas are the areas where traditionally are least amount of self-responses, okay? So if we zoom in, this is part of the Somerset County, you can see that Somerset County has a little bit of everything, a little bit of everything there. And if you click into any one of those tracks, you will be able to see housing, demographic, socioeconomic data that has been collected for that particular area. Now, if we go all the way down to a census tract level, and a census tract is an area, a geographic area that contains up to 5,000 housing units, okay? So in that census tract area that we've highlighted here, you can see all that information is depicted. The median age, the household composition, who's in school. It even goes down, this is pretty long, and it goes all the way down to who has high-speed internet. So even to that detail. So we have a lot of information there about the age of our population in that particular census tract. It's very important at the top, you can see the low self-response score. In this particular area that is highlighted in blue, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's a faint blue line around the census tract there. The low response score of that particular area is 18.2%. That means 18.2% of the population in that census tract do not traditionally self-respond. So we're missing them in the census. And those are the communities that we need to reach, which is why we're here. We need your ability to reach those communities and your trusted voice to tell them about the importance of doing this. Again, no money, although I'm going to say that there are county-level complete count committees that may have other resources available to you. As U.S. 2020 Census Bureau, we do have free resources, technology, and resources available to you. We have people such as myself and 117 other partnership specialists in the state that can come to the events, that can help promote the census and promote your activities with the census information and help you in your job fairs, for example. And we also have all the data, as I mentioned, these data tools that we've gathered that are available in the 2020census.gov website and can be customized. We have other presentations and workshops that we can provide as well. And we hope that you consider being a partner. Any questions for me today? I know I was very quickly. I have some of the items in the presentation are in print, so I'm going to leave them there for people that want to read them a little more carefully. Yes.
Council, any question? Mr. Francois?
Yeah, I do have one question. So you said there are a lot of jobs available, but you never spoke to what kinds of jobs that are available
I
for
will
people out there to
indeed.
listen.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Like I said, Thomas Jefferson had 650 people. We are looking to hire 60,000 people. 60 in the New York region alone. So we need to hire. Who do we need to hire? First of all, the application is very quick. It's 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes online. You can do that. And then you will get a call over on the phone interview looking for what your skills are. So you could have language skills, you could have social media skills, statisticians, we could have computer skills. There's a range of skills that we need to get disseminated, to get this information disseminated. And that's the kind of the resources that we're looking to hire. Of course, ultimately, we also need census trackers, which are the people that we're going to visit the houses. So there's a process to get hired, and it is not always fast. You're not going to get hired in 2 weeks, but probably you will get a call in 2 weeks for an interview. And we are looking to hire. Another very important fact is that the payment for this position is it is not a permanent position, but it could be a full-time, a part-time, a flexible time position. So any of those people that are retired, that are home from school, that are getting a gap year or maybe just home from school, moms at home, people that work from home, any of those that have any availability of time, $18 to $36 an hour.
Wow.
Depending on your skills.
Yeah, because when most people think about census jobs, they think they have to go door to door and knock
Yeah.
on people's doors. That's why I asked the question.
Yes, thank you. And it's not necessarily that. We need all the skills.
$18 is the minimum.
$18 to $36
That's
an hour.
fantastic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I actually have a follow-up question to Councilwoman. So you said you have to go online. Is there an actual physical application for individuals that maybe don't have the same access to online?
So we are looking to come to your community with laptops, with tablets, to help people do those applications online. And we will provide assistance in English and Spanish and in any language that you need. You just let us know, and we will be here at your fall festival on the 26th, at your community festival, and at your job fair. We will be here for that. So please invite us and let us know, and we'll provide that assistance.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So this is such an important thing. I'm looking for a motion from council to allow members of the public just a 1 minute, maximum of 1 minute question. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. So if any member of the public wants to come up, we have 1 minute to ask your question.
Thank you.
Ms. Powell, go ahead. Come to the mic so the TV can hear it.
Actually, I have two questions. One is about homelessness, which is definitely on the rise in our country, and how do you count homeless people? And the other is in the way the federal government is to say, not census per se, but the administration, I mean, where they're incarcerating and deporting people even if they're here legally. How do you deal with people who are undocumented and don't want to be counted?
Thank you for that. That is a very important question because there is a whole system to count what we call group home or group quarters, GQs, group quarters population. We do have an understanding, because we do the census every 10 years, that the living arrangements have changed from traditional living arrangements today. So yes, we have a whole process to count all of those that do not have a permanent house, that are transient, and that have two households. There's children that live, in two households, for example, children that are, young people that are at college. So there is a lot of variation in the type of housing that there is today, and specifically for homeless and group homes. And group homes might include also hospitals, nursing homes, and other homeless shelters and other temporary home situations. We count everyone once and in the right place, for which, for this reason, we have a whole system to go out and find where people are. And as a matter of fact, there is one night that all the homeless people get counted throughout the nation. So we said, well, there's
Called point in time.
Thank you. There's a
So
process.
the point in time census is done for homeless population. It's done in cooperation with law enforcement and other social service agencies throughout the country. And on one particular night, the Census Bureau, who works with agencies like our local police department, to identify locations where homeless people congregate so that they can be counted. And that's not only done for like will be done for the 2020 census, it's actually done annually for the reporting purposes that, and I'm not going to do your job, you just talked all about it, what you do beyond, in between the 10-year censuses.
Exactly. But we do, we say one night because it's the understanding is that there's a huge effort done to count everyone. But remember, there is a conglomerate of agencies helping find where those people need to be counted. And for the people that have other transient arrangements, we count everyone where they sleep the most nights throughout the year, or where they are on April 1st, which is Census Day. So there's a whole system to get to count everyone. But yes, we need your help to find out where people are. And all those people that don't want to be counted, how can we get to them? That's part of the process.
Any other member of the public? I knew Mr. Guy would get up because this is very important to him.
So my main question is that after the statistical data is done, can you talk about how this is actually positioned for funding on the back end for what is actually allocated from a state, city, and a county level at all? And then also just because it's going to be into a major election year next year, because of how people are going to feel about giving up data points on going into that. Is there some specific things that you can enlighten us for, and how we can work together to actually make sure people are feeling safe and comfortable about doing this, giving up their information for this important census at all?
Yes, thank you. It is very important. That's why the third point is always to emphasize that it is safe and that it is protected by federal law. And it has been protected, again, since 1790 from previous, present, and future administrations. The information personal identifiable information never gets shared with any other government agency. That means that your landlord won't know how many people live in your house. That means that Homeland Security is not going to know who lives in your house. That means that other agencies will not get the information from the census. They will get the number. We count everyone. And, well, the idea you said about the apportioning of the $675 billion, well, again, it's based on that head count. And the money gets then, so one thing that happens, and that is important for the politicians, is that the redistricting that is happening in 2021 will be done according to the census numbers. So yes, that is part of it. But also, again, hospitals, roads, firehouses, schools, senior nutrition programs, all of these programs are funded through and based with those, from those numbers.
Anyone else from the public?
Mayor, seeing no one else from the public come forward, I'll motion to close the public portion of this section of the meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. It's closed. Up to you to wrap it up.
You again. It's been a wonderful pleasure to be here. I love your community. Like I said, I've been here less than 2 hours, and I already want to move here. So thank you, and I hope that you invite me back to your fall festivals and your other activities, and hopefully to a community job fair. That's our goal. So please let us know.
If you move here, we'll count you.
Thank you.
I think we appointed the Human Relations Committee as the town-wide complete count committee.
Okay, we are now moving on to the 2019 Flood Mitigation Status Report.
Okay, my name is Scott Thomas. I'm senior engineer, Franklin Township, over 18 years. I don't have any presentation, PowerPoint. I'm only here to answer questions on a yearly basis for the last 10 years. I've presented a memorandum to council outlining the things that the township is doing to make our residents safer for flooding and other disasters. Should have received for the last 10 years, if you've been here this long, this letter. I'm our floodplain manager. I'm our community rating systems coordinator for FEMA. That's what I do on a daily basis. So if anybody has any questions about what's in the report or in general, I'm here to answer those.
What could we be doing that we're not doing?
There's a lot of things outlined in here.
Yeah, I went through it, and there's quite a few.
A lot of those things are monetarily take some money to do, as far as flood studies, and then there's some things that aren't, like putting up a flood evacuation sign. Sometimes people don't want to see that next to where they're moving in. So there are various reasons why these things aren't being done. A lot of them are either staff or monetarily related. But I think the most important things that we're doing, the health and safety things, between our emergency responders and OEM and the police, I think we have a very safe community as far as flooding goes. And frankly, the council and the planning board, the way that they have planned the communities, in that along our main floodway, which is the canal and the rivers, there are very few residences and businesses that will get flooded in these 100-year storms that happen every 5 years. Any other questions?
I noticed that, for instance, join NOAA's Storm Ready program and waive fees for installation of backup power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's part of the...
Those seem like rather simple things we could do.
Correct. That's recommendations from the county and their multi-hazard plan that the town can be doing. Waiving fees, that's something that, would have to be, I imagine an ordinance would have to be passed for that, for the code enforcement not to collect those fees.
Oh, and we could perhaps couple that with things like minimal fees for inspection of solar cells. Things that we would like to see people do. I will also bring up something I bring up every year, which is, but I understand it may be more a county responsibility. I know there's a sign, I think it's solar powered and remotely controlled, on Bunker Hill Road, warning if the Greekstown Causeway is closed, but we ought to have one at the Canal Road Route 518 intersection also, because a lot of people commute that way.
I agree, and that's another thing that's in this report.
Is that a recommendation ever been made to the Public Works Department for Somerset County that you're aware of?
Well, I would think they would have been in on the planning process.
I know that the mitigation plan includes Somerset County Public Works and all of the other municipalities. I just wondered if you were aware if it was specifically addressed.
I don't know that anybody actually asked them, but I would imagine they'd be aware of it as part, because they are part of the committee that created this all hazards plan.
All hazards plan, correct. Okay.
Yeah, just, do you have any recommendations as far as improving our flood insurance rating as such compared to, let's say, the shore communities that are flood prone. We are not, but is there anything we can do to improve it so that we don't have to lay out as much money on flood insurance?
Well, we are a riverine community, and so we do have, there's a different type of flooding that we do have. Right now, we are what's called a level 6 community. We started off 10 years ago as a 7, and with a 7, that's a 15% savings on flooding insurance for everybody that's in the special flood hazard area, which is your 100-year flood zone, and then 5% for everybody else. 5 years ago, when we went through a revaluation, we went from the 7 to a 6, which is actually a good thing. And that meant that the people that were in the special flood hazard areas now get 20% discounts on their flood insurance, and everyone that's outside gets 10%. Just next month, I'm going to have another revaluation, person from FEMA coming. I'm hoping to maintain our 6. The calculations have changed. They're kind of emphasizing more larger projects, levees, taking large communities out of flooding areas. We don't need to do that. So hopefully we can maintain the calculations and keep the people the savings that they have now and not go back. That is my goal. It would be great if we could go higher, but that's not realistic for the type of community that we're in.
Now, I've lived here 44 years, and I've seen a lot of flooding, and it used to be that Eastern Avenue used to get flooded, and that hasn't happened lately, thank God. But there were areas with the nursing home had to be evacuated and all those things. And also the area by Zarephath. Now, has there been enough done to prevent that?
Well, 5 years ago, Zarephath rebuilt their levee.
Okay.
They had gone through a storm where they had allowed trees to grow up on their levee, and when the storm came, the trees were taken down, and that ripped apart their levee, and that flooded their entire community. Well, they've cleared all those trees, rebuilt it at a 100-year flood zone elevation. So that is protected up to the 100-year level, and more importantly, they've moved out of that area to across the street out of the 100-year flood zone, all their day-to-day activities. And I can also say that in June, I attended a meeting with FEMA that they are reevaluating the levees in Somerset County, and they are looking at Zarephath, and I just scheduled a meeting today that in the second week of November, I'll be meeting with FEMA again and the people from Pillar of Fire to discuss their levee.
So Eastern Avenue, which is a major
Eastern
corridor,
Avenue,
yeah.
yeah, that's the problem.
Near IHOP, and that used to flood, plus the
And it does still flood in the major 100-year storm events because that is a low area. You have the canal, you have the river, you have the stream that feeds into there. It's convergence. The only good thing is that it's just the roadway that floods, and that's our largest problem in town is the inconvenience of people that can't get to their homes on Canal Road, in and out. Eastern Avenue that gets closed, but fortunately it's not the residents' homes that are being affected, even though there are some, and there are some businesses. It's mostly the inconveniences we have with our flooding.
Thank you for the job you're doing, keeping us flood-proofed. Thank you.
Quick question, Mayor.
Flood minimized.
Yeah, flood-proof.
Anyone else wish?
Quick question, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Is the dredging project that's been going on or went on have any benefit?
The dredging is of the canal.
Right, I'm just wondering.
The canal is a controlled waterway.
So it's not.
So it really has no impact. So the canal really never floods. And I know that sounds like that can't be, but the canal doesn't flood. When the canal overflows its banks, it's because the river adjacent to it has overflowed its banks and inundated the canal. The canal has the ability through locks and controls to be able to maintain its level, whether it's dredged or not. It will hold more water once it's dredged, but that really has little impact on flooding.
Okay, yeah, I don't live that in town, but I know that like he was saying, by the canal road and whatnot, so.
Yeah, it's
It won't be able to hold more water, but because of what you explained, it's really not going to
It
benefit.
doesn't, yeah, right, it won't matter,
It's already going to be holding that.
Got it. I was just
Right.
curious. Thank you for clarifying that.
As someone who lives on the canal, my property's closer to the canal than I am to Mr. Vornlocker right now.
Right, that's true.
You're absolutely right. The canal doesn't flood, the river floods over the canal.
Now, okay.
And the major rivers do actually go underneath the canal.
They do.
Into the millstone.
Right, 6 Mile Run runs under the canal, and so they're you know, there's.
So there are a controlled number of sources that actually go into the canal, and the lock system keeps that maintains that level.
Amazing engineering for 1833.
So what?
Several times recently, there has been flooding of, I guess you'd call Kingston Rocky Hill Road or New Laurel Avenue by the quarry. And I know the quarry has a rather limited drain into the canal. Is there anything that we can do to lessen flooding of Laurel Avenue that is really flooding that's coming out of the canal, out of the quarry?
Well, I don't know if Scott's aware, so I can probably answer that question. That's under investigation by Somerset County Public Works to working with Trap Rock to find a way to remedy the flooding situation on Kingston Rock Hill Road. Obviously, their road, so that's why they have the interest in it, and they're the ones that have to close it. But they're trying to work with Trap Rock on internal methods of drainage of the quarry so that it isn't overflowing onto Kingston Rock Hill Road. And I know that that's an ongoing project, and our police department traffic safety bureau was involved with that as well. So that is currently being investigated by Somerset County to try to find a means to better drain the quarry side of Kingston Rock Hill Road so it doesn't overflow onto the road.
Yeah, I was told that last spring, and I'm just wondering if this study is making any progress.
It's a good question for Mr. Guy to ask the county engineer the next time he's at a freeholder meeting.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
We are now jumping back to council committee reports. Mr. Wright.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Wright. Mr. Chase.
We had a Public Works Committee meeting this afternoon, but I think that a couple of the things we discussed are not ready to be brought out in public yet. We're just beginning to look into a couple of things. We reviewed the progress of our capital projects, which are coming along well. Of course, the Little Rocky Hill water main, after 3 months that the state's contractor could not make a new line where they're going to replace a bridge, our staff, our Public Works Department went in and did it in a day and a half, so that we no longer have the boiled water advisory down Route 27. And of course, we are moving to extend the line to hook up to New Jersey American Water on the outskirts of Kingston down by Raymond Road, and this will give us the possibility of supplying water to that line from both ends. And also, then we'd buy a little more water from New Jersey American Water, because at present we have a contract that we have to pay for a certain amount of water, and we've been so good about conservation and checking our meters and checking for leaks that we're not even buying the amount that we have to pay for. So if we can buy a little more water, it won't cost us any more, but we'll sell more. And I don't think I have anything else to report that I can think of. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Prasad.
Nice, we already heard about from Ms. Powell, and I was there for that last meeting, and I urge everybody on council to sign the letter to the governor protesting it. The Human Relations Commission had met regarding the 2000 census and also with the new principal of the Franklin High School. And there was no meeting with the Community Foundation or land use. I attended quite a few events on Gandhi's 150th birthday celebration in Edison as well as in New York City. Good event. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad. Ms. Kimberly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say that perhaps, and maybe this has already been addressed by the township manager while he's over there talking, that the perhaps one of our special projects manager, I know the Human Relations Commission has been appointed to help with the census, but maybe there's some things we can do.
Anne Marie is the coordinator of the census effort. I don't know if you're aware of that, but that is her function as a clerk, is that she does that. That is actually like one of those statutory responsibilities of the clerk. But certainly she knows that whenever she needs Safi's help, Safi is always there to help her with any of those efforts. But absolutely, this is one of those townwide efforts, Councilwoman, as you know, and there's a lot of very important reasons why we want our number to be as accurate and as high in some cases as it should be. Because for some of those things that were alluded to earlier in reference to funding for certain purposes from the federal government, from state government that rely on census data, CDBG grants and what census tracts qualify for CDBG appropriations. All of those things are very important. So clearly the next, not quite year, April 1st being D-Day, almost, I guess 8 months now, are going to be an effort, but yes, of not only Safi and Anne Marie, but others on staff as well.
I just thought you might need some help with community outreach, that's all.
She does. She does. All of those things will be well coordinated and well done.
All right. I wanted to just comment that Franklin Day was fabulous. I think the staff did a really nice job this year. Every year it gets bigger and better, and I think everybody that was there had a good time. The weather was nice. It was very, very well coordinated and participated, and I just wanted to say kudos to the staff in Franklin Township and all the people that came out. And in terms of the youth center, we're having a meeting tomorrow internally. We wanted to get through some of these major activities, and the staff will be meeting tomorrow. And I believe one of the things that will come out of that meeting, and we haven't talked about it yet, but everywhere I go, somebody stops me and asks me what's going on with the youth center. So I feel like I have a report on my head, but I think there needs to be like a monthly report put on the website so people get a status of what's really going on. So there's actually a tab not a tab, but there's a part of the website that highlights the youth center. So we'll do a lot more due diligence to put information up there. But we are on schedule as of now, so things are moving along, and we just want to make sure the weather holds up while we're under construction over the winter, during the fall, and during the spring. So I continue to be more and more excited the closer and closer we get to the date. But the logistics of bringing the community in and getting the community engaged in some of the programs and activities and services we're going to have in the youth center. That's underway. That's going to start. We just kind of had to get past some of what was going on with the staff. And then I just also wanted to say that the sisters, the Pink Car event, we started that last year, and as it was said by Lieutenant Russo, I wanted to thank our Franklin Township Police Department because they, what did I say? Did I say Rizzo?
You went to the sheriff's candidate as opposed to Rizzo. That's okay.
Oh, my
We give credit all the way
I meant to
around.
say Lieutenant Rizzo.
That's a slip.
Oh, it definitely was a slip. Lieutenant Philip Rizzo. They had a event on October 4th over at the Somerset County Courthouse, and they had 3 pink cars over there, patrol vehicles over there wrapped in pink. And the Township of Franklin had a car, Branchburg, and the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office has been very, very supportive of the project, and I'm thankful that our police department has been very engaged in helping our sister-to-sister network raise funds, and I wasn't being facetious when I said that they, can take every donation just to help them survive. They're a nonprofit, and they're not funded by anything, and everybody that's over there working to support the families and the people that are affected by breast cancer really depend on that organization. So I know they were here earlier, but I just wanted to put a plug in for our police department and thank them for all the work that they've been doing in the community. And we do have trunk or treat coming up, and that will be on October 24th. And that's a great 26th. I don't even have the right date.
It's Saturday the
26th. Thank you. You all are listening.
Yes.
Everybody's listening. It's good. October 26th from 1 to 4 over at the Johns Plaza parking lot on Hamilton Street. Come on, come on, and get all the free candy, and we're going to play games. We're going to give out a lot of prizes and for the best costume, and it's always a good time for the children, and it's a safe place to be during Halloween. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And Mr. Mayor, I just want to add really quickly to that, and just because I won't give a full report again to repeat it, but it is also an opportunity as a fundraiser for the Franklin Food Bank that if you bring non-perishable items, we're also doing a food drive for the food bank at Trunk or Treat that day. So just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Jerry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to echo Councilwoman Friend's about Franklin Day, that thank you to the staff and the volunteers and the residents who come out, because it's the residents that make the day also, and make the staff and volunteers want to continue to come out. So thank you very much to everybody involved with it. I know I will miss people if I try to start naming some people, so we'll leave it there. As far as committee meetings and reports, Sewage Authority met, I had their monthly meeting. We confirmed through resolution that there is no rate increase for the next year, and we are on target. Yes, it is in writing, so we're not going back on it. So you will not see a rate increase in your bill this year, which will start mailing out towards the end of this year. And through the budgeting, we're hoping that for the foreseeable future to stay at that rate as well. So there. As far as fire prevention, we got honored to get an early copy of the calendar. So in the November, you will see the artwork by our own Malia Williams that we honored back in May, I think May or June. So this is November 2020. The calendar will be, we have limited copies of the calendar available at fire prevention. I'm not sure, I know it comes out from the state, so I'm not sure if we can get extra copies, but I know I was told there's a limited number here. And also, this is Fire Prevention Week, so thank you to all the firehouses who, over the past couple of weeks and upcoming weekends, have been hosting fire safety events. I know this past weekend we attended, several of us were there for the Kingston fire truck wet down. Yep, wet down and dedication for their new engine. I think I got it right. Engine. And then also, other equipment. And then also I know that Fire District 2, which is Griggstown, Franklin Park, and Rocky Hill had theirs a couple weeks ago in the Franklin Park Shopping Center, and then this past weekend was Middlebush and Millstone, and upcoming this weekend is Somerset and Elizabeth Ave, I believe, is hosting something, and then I believe in coordination with the trunk or treating or the event that I think community will be having some equipment out also. So, all right. So thank you to all our volunteers who, besides responding to fires, are spending time to show and educate the public. So, and they're always looking for volunteers. So if you have time to spare and would like to get involved, reach out. There's one central place now. I will make
Go to our website, and there is clearly pretty prominent under the departments to find out the contacts for becoming a volunteer.
Thank you. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I am all set.
Thank you. Ms. Pruitt.
Okay, so I feel like there were just so many events that occurred in the past 2 weeks. Echoing what my colleagues have said, Franklin Day was a wonderful experience. Thank you to the staff and everyone who came out to participate. Also, thank you to the staff that let me climb all over the heavy machinery, and the county for letting me climb into the SWAT car. So much appreciated. But it was a good time and a great opportunity to speak with residents and just be about the town. A lot of breast cancer events. I participated in the county event, was able to participate in the event this evening in front of our public safety building. I even got to see the car out at the Franklin Township Food Bank hot dog event that they had. So I was actually out there serving people hot dogs, so that was a lot of fun. Thank you to the food bank for letting me participate and throw in some gloves. I also want to thank the Kingston Fire Company for inviting me to their dedication. It was a really nice event and very excited about their new equipment. As far as, so Senior Expo. The Senior Expo went off really, really well. It seemed like a lot of seniors were able to come out and get some great information, and thank you to all of the vendors and the participants and, of course, the staff for organizing that. And I'm going to let the mayor talk about this, but the mayor and I were on a conference call with the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection about the William Transco project, and obviously advocating on behalf of our township and our residents and the importance of denying those permits. And as far as council actual committees, Alliance meeting, we talked a lot about vaping, and how to continue to survey our community to get a feel for any substance abuse issues. Advisory Board of Health, there was no meeting, and that's all that I have. Oh, and big thank you to the Sisters Network, and we were able to go to the 5K and obviously give them a proclamation. All the work that they're doing is really, really important. As I mentioned earlier, the organization has a special place in my heart. When my mom passed away from multiple myeloma in 2011, the organization, as well as the Nu Xi Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha, which my mom was a sister, planted a tree. So there's a tree in honor of my mom. So I really appreciate all the work that they do for the community and for all of the survivors and their families. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Onijaka.
I have the privilege to attend, watch the Apuana games 2 weeks ago. And in fact, that was my first time of watching them this year. I used to take my kids over to go and play the football. So it wasn't new to me. But the most interesting part of it is the talk gave me an opportunity to watch the Middlebush Park. You know, the grasses, watch the kids use the premises and enjoy their games. And after the game, Councilman Carl Wright has the privilege to take me around and to have a full grip of the whole thing and greet members of my ward and Franklin members too, and share with the kids. So it was a very good opportunity for me, Mayor. Thank you. That's what I have tonight.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, the only thing I heard about Franklin Day is, I don't know what percentage, but a lot of people who come to that are from neighboring towns. And I think that says a lot about Franklin. And I think they're very impressed and seem to have a wonderful time. And of course, we welcome everyone into our town. So thanks for the residents from our town and from others that come and spend that day with us. The census, if I remember right, my family settled here in the 1950s, and I think the census was under 20,000, if I remember. I was reading it recently. Anyway, depending where we land, and I think we're going to be on the north side of 70,000, but who knows. But depending where we land after the next census, we will have grown almost 400% in 60 years, which, you know, I don't know. It's any of those who've been around or remember the town, and it's more wonderful today than it was then. But things change, and maybe that can lead into my next concern. A couple people tonight spoke about road safety and lighting, and I just want to be clear. The town has done a lot, and I worked with Bob Vornlocker when he was a traffic sergeant in getting some lights in some areas, and it's not always an easy process. But, you know, as a member of the Public Safety Committee, which I'm still on today, but bottom line is we do a lot, but with the growth of this town and so many people coming through here, and unfortunately sometimes not driving very safely, we need to do more. And I'm not going to go into a whole thing about it tonight because that's for a committee meeting, perhaps Public Works or Public Safety, but just to mention a few items, we've grown. And look, I love beautiful trees, and I hate light pollution. I see Rutgers Stadium from my house lit up, and it glows like you couldn't imagine. But some lighting you just need. And, you know, whether we have bus stops adults use in the evening or the morning work, depending on the time of year some children use. We have areas where there's multiple deer accidents that lighting's not going to even, lighting's not the answer to everything, but I think we can be a little more proactive and strategic. I mean, PSE&G, for safety reasons, trims on a regular basis branches that interfere with wires because of safety, but I don't know of any plan we have that they any real plan that they cut branches that may interfere with street lighting. So, you know, perhaps there's more we can do and look at. So, and we need to be sensitive to the residents that may not want lights, even if it's for safety reasons. So we need to be strategic and we need to be sensitive. But there's beautiful country roads we have with tree and sometimes you don't even need lighting. You need to cut back the canopies, as beautiful as they are, over back roads, especially heavily traveled roads, country roads. Some of them are very heavily traveled or traveled all hours of the night. So there's a whole slew of things I think we can perhaps be a little bit more proactive with. But my number one priority, and I think most people up here, perhaps I don't want to speak for them, has always been safety. So if we could do something, if we could do more, let's just give it a try. Anyway, come out and support the Trunk or Treat, which has been a growing event, not quite the size of Franklin Day, but it's very important and fun. So come out and support that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vasanella. So for mine, first I'd like to remind people, Second Chance for Animals is having a tricky tray on Saturday, October 12th at the Ukrainian Cultural Center on Davidson Avenue. It's obviously to raise money for Second Chance for Animal, who supports our animal shelter. I, of course, give all the money I make from weddings to the animal shelter. So obviously, I'm supporting this. And I'm told that at 7 o'clock, when the drawings will occur, there'll be a very short, bald, good-looking man that will be doing the drawing. Get a close-up of that. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Also, very, very important. So we've been working very hard on creating a community center as well as the youth center. The community center is going to be where Consolata Missions used to be, and it's a joint venture between the Township, the Board of Ed, and possibly there'll be some funding from the Library Board. That's yet to be determined. But just as Ms. Francois organized a township or a town hall meeting to help the powers to be decide in the design of it, on October 28th at 6 o'clock at Franklin Park School in the cafeteria. October 28th, 6 o'clock, Franklin Park School cafeteria. There will be a town hall meeting to hear from the public as to what they would, what's going on there and what they would want there. The main room that many people have been voting in, we are expecting to be done by November, by November 5th, definitely, because that you'll be back to voting there again. And the rest of that building is what the discussion will be about. So I'm very excited about that. Not only are we putting into the youth center, but that community center is going in as well. Census and flood information, thank you for that, very useful. Mr. Guy, your comments were very useful tonight, and I know you are very interested in the census. You've been talking about that for a while, and hopefully you can help with that. Thanks to staff and everyone else for Franklin Day. And everyone has mentioned the numerous pink car events that have gone on. On a slightly bizarre and humorous note, if you read on the internet, I got an email about this today, that there was a firehouse parade where there was a political banner in the parade. That isn't this Franklin. There's, what, 3 Franklins, a Franklin Borough, a Franklin Lakes?
So there's four Franklin Townships, a Franklin Borough, and a Franklin Lakes, and we have
wasn't us.
Yeah, and there's been a number. Apparently, this has been somewhat viral, and not just locally in New Jersey, but gone well beyond the boundaries of Franklin, New Jersey, and our website has gotten a number of comments from the general public about their feelings about this particular fire company marching with a political flag in their honor guard. And as the mayor said, it is clearly not us. It is actually the Franklin and Sussex County, not to be confused with the other 6 or so here in New Jersey.
And then lastly, as Councilwoman Pruitt referred to, there was a telephone conference with myself, Ms. Pruitt, and the New Jersey DEP. Ms. Pruitt, with her day job connections, not helped, but arranged that. And both of us took the time to emphasize to them not only the importance of this project or stopping this project to Franklin, but the numerous reasons why we thought it should be stopped, and how they initially turned it down because there was no inherent benefit to Franklin, and there is still no inherent benefit to Franklin. Williams has not approached us in any way to convince us of any benefit that this project might have, and I can't, for the life of me, see how it could benefit us. When we are talking about trying to eliminate or significantly reduce the use of fossil fuels, why are we building more fossil fuel structure? The last thing, almost forgot. East Millstone, the village I live in and near, got an award. I didn't even know this award existed, but Tara Kenyon, our open space advisor, applied for it. And East Millstone has been named a great neighborhood. It has a great neighborhood designation by the American Planning Association. And they pick the criteria for it is memorable character, design and architectural features that are visually interesting, a variety of functional attributes that contribute to residents' day-to-day living, such as commercial and residential mixed use, accommodates all modes of transportation, encourages social activity, and creates a sense of community and neighborhoodness. And the citizens of East Millstone really work at that. They have events throughout the year, 4 or 5 events throughout the year to try to bring neighbors together. So kudos to East Millstone. Nice piece of news there. That's all I have, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a few things to report. I just want to touch on a couple of things that have already been reported on. So we talked about the pink car and the event that was held at the courthouse, and then some people asked me, why does it say Far Hills Race Meeting on the side of the vehicle as well as the other 2 vehicles that were on display, the 3 from Somerset County? So for those of you who don't know, the Far Hills Race Meeting is a steeplechase race that's been held for over 100 years in the northern part of Somerset County in Far Hills. And the primary focus of the Far Hills Race Meeting is to raise money for healthcare organizations, and in particular, organizations for treating cancer patients. In fact, the Steeplechase Cancer Center of Somerset Medical Center, now RWJ Barnabas in Somerville, is named for the fact that the Far Hills Race Meeting is one of the primary fundraisers for the Steeplechase Cancer Center. So the Far Hills Race Meeting has partnered with the police departments and PNC Bank to promote this idea, and the car will be on display next weekend at the Far Hills Race Meeting. And cancer survivors and family members of people who have had breast cancer, you get to sign, it's a wrap, so it's not a paint, so they get to sign the car, and it's just has really become a very special thing, and I'm very proud of our police department for starting that. So it's kind of a neat thing. So I just wanted to say that. So on to business. Poll workers are needed. Somerset Board of Elections is looking for registered voters to work on Election Day. The information is in the spotlight on our website. If you wish to work on Election Day, you must get up early, and you must go to that polling location early, and you must stay there for a long time, and they will pay you $200 for it. It is a wonderful way to do something in a civic-minded thing, and you do get paid for it, but they are in need of workers. If you're interested, please go. There's links on our website to do that, and time is of the essence there. Election Day is right around the corner. Our IT department is sponsoring again this year for children in grades kindergarten through 12 and a Kids Safe online poster contest. The deadline is December 13th. I will continue to remind you. All of the information is on our website. It is sponsored by the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month through the Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center. That's a whole lot of words that won't mean very much to anyone, but it's the government IT people, and it's a nationwide contest, and we encourage all of our kids to participate if you can come up with a way to be cyber aware related to social media and online activities. There are prizes, $25 Visa gift cards if you win, so certainly there's a little bit of incentive as well. So I would encourage children K through 12 to participate in that. The Environmental Commission is sponsoring a Spotted Lanternfly public seminar on Monday, November 9th in this room right here at 6:30 p.m. For those of you who don't know what the spotted lanternfly is, it's an invasive insect that came from Asia. It was first identified in Berks County, Pennsylvania back in 2014 and has made a eastern trek into New Jersey and is now present in western New Jersey and really western Somerset County. It eats just about everything that it comes in contact with from a vegetation standpoint. If you see it, you should kill it. There is no good use for it. There is no reason why we want it. And if you want to learn more about it, it is making its way here, and it is going to create problems with our trees and crops. I would encourage people to attend this seminar on the 4th. If you can't attend the seminar, do something as simple as just Google spotted lanternfly, and you will learn a whole lot about what it is and what you should do if you find egg sacs or the actual insect in your shrubs or trees. So it is certainly something that we all need to pay attention to. Yes, sir.
Are we televising that? Can we tape that?
That's already been discussed. Generally, we try to get them recorded for our television station. So yes, that's something that we'll talk to the IT department about, having a videographer here to record it. So they can play on the TV station.
Thank you.
Like we do with the wild, like coyotes and the bears. It's the same thing. Generally, the Environmental Commission is good about sponsoring these public seminars, and this is another one that I think is very worthwhile for people to attend or watch on TV. As the councilman said, that I'll talk to the IT department tomorrow to make sure that happens.
I'll just comment that
yes, sir.
The preferred host of the spotted lanternfly is the so-called tree of heaven, Ailanthus, which is also an introduced species, and it has been found in Middlebush Park.
That's correct.
The tree.
The tree.
The fly.
The fly was there as well, so there you go. So there, it's in Somerset County. It is. It's just it hasn't reached the numbers that it is in eastern Pennsylvania at this point, but it is here.
What about when it gets cold? Is it going to kill it off?
No.
No. Wow.
So really, residents can be really helpful in
So, like I said, the Department of Environmental Protection has basically put, and there's flyers on our website if you want more information. We've begun to advertise it, and there's information in the most recent newsletter as well on this particular topic. Really, and it sounds, if you see them, kill them. I mean, that's really what it amounts to. If you see them, kill them. If you find the egg sacs, destroy them and throw them in the garbage. We don't allow it to continue. It's not going to hurt you. It doesn't hurt people. It eats leaves. It eats trees. It eats vegetation. So if you see it, and they kind of stand out. It'll look like a bug that you've never seen before. Yeah. It's pretty brightly colored, and there's different stages of it, obviously, as it matures. But you should look on our website, and you should watch for it on TV. Councilman Vassanella, just so you know, in 1950 we had 9,601 people, so it was very, very small. 9,601, and in 10 years it more than doubled in 1960. So we've been growing really fast since 1950 when the Vassanellas came here. Because now I agree with you. I think we're going to top 70. So that's my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We are now on to approval of the minutes. I present the following minutes for approval for Township Council, by Township Council. The work session regular meeting, September 24th, 2019 at 7 PM, and the executive session, September 24th at 2019. Do I have a motion on the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, any corrections? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Warrants, which are the bills we pay in the amount of $12,177,302.34 on October 10th, 2019, are presented to the Township Council for a payment. Do I have a motion on the
I move to
warrants?
approve the warrants as read.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Item number 12, public hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading. First reading is when we introduce it to the towns so that they can prepare themselves for the second reading, which comes about 2 weeks later when we allow for public comment and we vote. An ordinance amending the municipal code of chapter, this is ordinance 4302-19, an ordinance amending the municipal code chapter 226, vehicles and traffic of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly repealing section 226-9, temporary parking prohibition for snow plowing and removal, and adding section 226-9, parking prohibited in snow emergencies, is presented for public hearing and final adoption. The public hearing has been noticed as required. Do I have a motion to open to the public?
Motion for public hearing.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor of opening for the public, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We are open to the public on this item only.
Mayor, seeing no one from the public come forward, a motion to close the public portion of the hearing on this ordinance.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of closing to the public, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We are closed to the public. Do we have a motion on the item?
Motion for passage.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. So this item is one that will restrict parking during, when there's snow on the ground during the removal, except for a few streets where there's limited off-street parking, and also for people who don't have driveways can apply for permits. Is there any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
We're now on to item number 13, ordinances on introduction and first reading, ordinance 4304-19, an ordinance of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, authorizing the acceptance of conservation easement from Bridgepoint Somerset LLC to the Township of Franklin for premises known as Block 516.01, Lot 7.05, 7.06, and 7.07 Weston Canal Road, Randolph Road. The foregoing ordinance is presented to Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, and publication in accordance with law and public hearing and final adoption on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019. That's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019 at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Complex. Do I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. So this is a conservation easement for the Amazon property that's going in. It's basically saying while they own the extent of property, there's a certain portion of that property that they can't use.
They're essentially stream corridors that run down to Weston Canal Road.
Any other discussion?
Just curiously, is there any immediate plan, and I'm not real familiar with this project, for there to, and if you want, we can wait till after we vote if this doesn't fall under the discussion, but do they plan to have drone services working out of there, or is that part of what this?
No, this is not a distribution location. This is midpoint in the stream.
So that's,
Thank you.
that is off subject for this ordinance, but thank you. Do we have any other discussion on the subject? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Chaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
And thus it is introduced. Consent agenda resolutions, items A through K are listed on the consent agenda portion of this meeting are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any-
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I would have to ask that Resolution G 19437 be voted on separately, simply so that I can abstain on it.
Okay, so we're pulling item number G. Anyone else want to pull an item, discuss an item, or question an item? So we are going to have roll call on items A through K excluding G. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Chaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
And item number G is Resolution 19-437, authorizing the issuance of a special event permit, DNR Canal Watch stargazing event along the canal at the Griggstown Grassland Preserve. Wait a minute, isn't that the John Clyde Preserve?
It is now.
It is.
So mislabeled, but I think we can
I'll correct that.
pass it anyway. Any discussion, oh, I'm sorry, do we have a motion on that item?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and
Second.
seconded, any discussion on it? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Abstain, I'm on the board of DNR Canal Watch.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Chaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
There are no resolutions to be voted on separately. Old business, 2019 boards, committees, commissions, vacancies. Do we have any nominations? Mr. Chase?
Don't you have the,
I have it here, but, okay. Vincent Valuri for the student member for the Advisory Recreation Council, and he also wishes to be the student member of the Advisory Board of Health. Are there any other nominations for those positions? Seeing none, we can do it by acclamation. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Congratulations, Vincent. Any other nominations for any other committees? Hearing none.
Motion for adjournment.
Do we have a motion for adjournment? I think we do. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Be well, Franklin.